Hey, good morning, everybody. Great to be back with you on this Friday morning. Terry Hansen here, and welcome to Traveling with Terry. Today, let's talk a little bit about email marketing and how to structure your lead nurturing sequences. So yesterday I had kind of a fun conversation with one of our clients here at Arcane Marketing, and it reminded me of some fundamental principles related to email marketing that I thought it would make sense probably just to bring up and chat about. I've got about 10 or 15 minutes before I get to the office, and there's no better people on the planet that I'd rather be chatting with than you guys. The connectors, the hustlers, and the trailblazers in the business world, you who love leadership and entrepreneurship and salesmanship and marketingship, all of that. So let's chat this morning. So working with this particular client, I was reminded again of how it is that most companies obviously have a website these days, and most companies have some sort of a form on their website so that when visitors go to their website, they can put in their name and their phone number and their email address in the contact us form. Now, what typically happens, there's two types of forms or two typical types of things that people typically have on their website. One is basically a newsletter subscription that people will say, yeah, I'll subscribe to your newsletter, and they put their name and their email address in and they click submit, and it goes into a database that when the company once a month puts out a newsletter, then they just get automatically, or they get emailed a newsletter. And that's helpful, that's fine, that's dandy. The second kind of form is a contact us form. That's very, very common. And you know how that works, obviously. And when somebody inserts their name and phone number and email address there, it typically gets, that contact form typically gets emailed to the receptionist or maybe to a salesperson who then immediately calls the person and says, hi, you wanted us to contact you about our products and services. How can we help you? Right? And both of those are like 99% of the companies out there on the planet have some version of those two things. And those have been around a long time. Those are very good. But there is, they're less effective than their older, more experienced sibling called a lead nurturing sequence. A lead nurturing sequence. Now, what is actually a lead nurturing sequence? A lead nurturing sequence always starts when something complimentary and free is offered on the website. And the way to get this free thing is by putting in your name and your email address and maybe even your phone number. This free thing could be a video training. It could be a checklist or a guide. It could be some sort of a white paper or a report. It could be a consultation. It could be even a webinar or an event. It could be a lot of things, but on the company's website, there's something pretty high value, pretty wonderful that's being offered for free. And so when the person sees that, they stick their name, their email address, their phone number in, and they click submit. They're doing that because they want this really high value free thing. So that's kind of the first step, if you will. The second step is when they receive that free thing in some sort of automated way. They get to attend the webinar, they get to download the PDF document, they get to schedule a free consultation and that sort of thing. Now, that's kind of the second step. Now, the third step is either before or after they get that free thing, they start receiving a series of automated, pre-scripted, pre-written emails that nurture them along a specific process to get them to the point where they are ready to purchase a product or service, or get to the point where they're ready to apply for membership or something like this. And that's what in my conversation with one of our existing clients at Arcane Marketing yesterday, I was reminded of how important it is to have this sort of a lead nurturing sequence is really. And we call it a lead nurturing sequences because when somebody signs up for the webinar, or they want to download this PDF document, or when they want to get a consultation and they opt in, they've risen their hand and they say, I'm interested in this thing. And by doing so, they become a lead. But we know that they're not ready to buy yet. We know they're not ready to buy, and so they need to be nurtured along. Kind of like when you were dating your spouse. You remember you met her, got her name, you asked her on the first date, then second date, then third date, and then you held hands, then you introduced her to mom, then you put a ring on her finger, and then you got married, right? There was kind of this nurturing, courting, dating process until you got married. And so that sort of process is important. They're not ready to buy yet. And so that's the purpose of the email, the series of emails that they're going to be getting. Email number 1 does something. Email number 2 does a different thing. Email number 3 is designed to do a different thing. And it walks them along a nurturing process until they're kind of to that point where they're ready to maybe consider getting married, in that sense, right? So, but most companies don't have that sort of a lead nurturing process set up. So let me invite you to think about 3 things that you can do to set that lead nurturing sequence up. And there's kind of what I call the 3 M's, the 3 M's. And I talked with our client about these 3 M's yesterday, and they scribbled a bunch of notes, and I thought, well, maybe that would be something to share with you guys, the most wonderful people here on watching Traveling with Terry bright and early on this Friday morning. So the first M stands for map. What you're going to do is you're going to map out, create literally kind of like a diagram, a map of what your nurturing sequence looks like. So when they go to your website, what are they going to download for free? What do you want to offer them for free? Right? That's really great and wonderful that you can give to them in exchange for their email address and their phone number. So let's start there. Okay. So once they do that and they're interested in that thing, then what's the next step? What additional pieces of information could you provide them? What videos could you share? What additional resources or articles could you send to them? What events could they attend that could step by step kind of nurture them along to get them to the point where they might be ready to be interested in buying your products and services. So map that out. What does step 1 look like? What does step 2 look like? What does step 3 look like? And then finally, what does step 4 look like? However many steps you need. But take some time and kind of map that out. Diagram each one of those steps out. To keep it really simple, don't make it complicated, but think about your existing customers and think about how they are typically buying from you right now. Think about how people, again, buy from you and your company, and think about how you could kind of automate that process via email. What would that look like? So map that out. That's the first step. The second step is to craft your messages. That's the second M for the 3 M's, is your messaging. Sit down at your computer and actually type out 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 emails and the right kind of messaging that you want to focus on in your email sequence. So actually write out what you want to say in email number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay? And then pass it along to your team and have them read it. Make sure it makes sense. In your 3 or 4 or 5 email messages, make sure to include links to, say, YouTube videos, include links to various articles that you feel like might help nurture them along and help win their case, win the case over, get them bought in to the idea of doing business with you. Provide links to maybe case studies, provide them links to events that you're holding, provide them links to start getting engaged to your community. Maybe you have a Facebook group. Maybe you've got a LinkedIn group. Maybe there's a forum that you own and participate in. But provide them links in those emails to get them to take action, to get them to come closer to you and your world, learn more about the things that you do and why it's so important to be connected to you. So anyway, sit down and write out your messages. Okay. So that's really the third sequence. Then after you've got your map, after you've got your messaging, then go ahead and launch and connect your emails together and get that all set up and let it run for, several days and a couple of weeks, right? And then the third and final M is you're going to measure your metrics. Measure your metrics. Pay attention to your metrics. What does your email delivery rate look like? How many emails are actually going out? Measure your open rate. How many of those emails are actually being opened and read and looked at? But then also measure your click-through rate. How many people are clicking on the links to go watch the videos, to read the articles, to attend the events? How many people are just clicking on those links? You should be able to see that stuff pretty transparently, pretty clearly. Okay. And so as the days and the weeks roll by, watch your metrics, pay attention to and measure how things are going. And what you're going to notice as you start measuring your metrics, that's kind of maybe redundant, measuring your metrics, as you're paying attention to your metrics, what you're going to notice is there's some kinks in your hose. You've got this garden hose of water flowing through the hose, and you're going to notice some kinks where the flow of the water is kind of stopped or slowed down. You're going to notice that emails are going out in great velocity, but not a lot of people are opening them up. There's the kink. Or a lot of people are opening them up, but nobody's clicking on the email, clicking on the links inside the emails. There's your kink. Or people are opening, people are clicking, but nobody is taking the next step to want to buy your products. There's your kink. You're going to notice some kinks in the hose, some sort of flow process there, or bottleneck. And then really the process becomes of just problem solving, refining and tweaking how that lead nurturing sequence is working so that you can get more good qualified leads and more sales from the things that you're doing. So anyway, yesterday, as I mentioned, I had a great conversation with one of our clients, and was reminded of how important it is not just have a contact us form on your website, not just have a subscribe to our newsletter, place on your website. Those are good, but they're not nearly as effective, not nearly as productive, not nearly as helpful as a lead nurturing sequence where you offer something free or complimentary on your website, and then you have a series of emails that follow up with them to nurture them along and get this lead into the point where they become literally a potential customer and interested in buying your products and services. So use the email for that. Now, if you are confused and would like some help or some guidance or some support in A, mapping out what that might look like for your company, B, crafting and writing up the messaging for that, or C, just evaluating how the metrics are looking, then reach out to Arcane Marketing. We'd be happy to help you. Listen, this is vital stuff. Your business needs this kind of thing to generate good quality leads every single day and week and month for your sales team to work on. So if you could use some help in that sort of thing, let's take the mystery right out of it. Give us a call, reach out to us, let's help you. And let's help you get crushing here, get going on your marketing. So anyway, happy Monday or happy Friday to you. Hope the week has gone well. Hope you got an exciting round of things going on this weekend. And hope you guys have a great time. So Allison, good morning to you way down in Texas. Hope you're doing great. Keep up the good work, and love you guys. We'll see you soon back here on Traveling with Terry next week. Take care. Bye-bye. Hey, thanks for watching. Did you know every company out there has what we call digital marketing blind spots? These are simple, hidden opportunities for growing and improving your marketing that most of the time people miss. Go to www.arcanemarketing.com and take advantage of our Rise and Ignite digital marketing analysis. It's 100% free to get fresh new insights and ideas to make what you're already doing that much better in 2021.